So the Master said, don't take Isis literally. Don't take Isis literally. The great Chauhan says, take the Book of Light literally. Yes, yes. It has all 7 keys, and by reading over and over again the Book of Light, you can turn one key after the other, and you will understand that the keys are nothing but the tools to access your 7 bodies sooner or later, this life or the next. So the Masters warns in it, don't take Isis literally. This book, they said, is a first try, done or written to direct the attention of the spiritists from their wrong way, and to show them that there's more than just body and soul. So the first step from 2 is logically 3. 1, 2, 3. So the 3 was the logical continuation from the knowledge of that time, seeing the human being as body and soul. Human being is more. Human being is spirit, soul, and body. Human being is even more. It is 7-fold, it is 9-fold, it is 12-fold. You see, in order to understand that, you would have to study then the Book of Light. Let me make one thing clear. I went to Los Angeles because I was dissatisfied with my life. Life of fame, of money, of everything. I wanted to know what is the origin and purpose of man and universe. I studied all religions, then I found my teacher, Beatrice Fleming. She guided me a step further. Then I read Isis and Secret Doctrine. Secret Doctrine I read maybe 1,000 times. No, exaggerated. But many, many, many times. In German, English, and Spanish. Then I was ready for the first step. Then the Master called me. And he said, you have to throw off everything. Come to LA. I came there, became homeless, and I concentrated on what I had to do. And I only wrote down what I was dictated. This is the Book of Light. It is the 3rd occult step. There was a problem, returning now to Isis Unveiled, with the Mahatma Kothami. It was not just that this question of if man is 2 or 3 principles, but, and I mentioned that already, that the spiritualists or spiritists of those days, they contacted the spirits, or rather the astral bodies, of the dead via medium to communicate with living people or beings. Now there's a great danger in that, and the Book of Light warns you not to do that. But it can only warn you if you know that when you contact something with somebody after death, this is not his immortal soul, as those spiritists thought, and then thought, well, there can be no danger. It's an immortal soul. No, it is a mortal astral body. Linga Sharira. It is also a mortal residue of etheric body, and so forth, prana rupa. So these layers should be left untouched, because from the highest point of view, the real being is the monad. Even if you see it as a spiritual being, it is in rounds that you can't reach anymore. So you tamper with lower shells, whose purpose it is to disintegrate. And this is what caused the masters to warn against such things. And Blavatsky did it. There was a time when she did it. When she did occult wonder cities, when she contacted the dead and so forth, she shouldn't have done it. She, so to speak, did great harm to Isis Unveiled and to secret doctrine. Of course, the greatest mistake of the Theosophic Society was then to establish or to put someone on the throne, Krishnamurti, like the returning Christ. That was complete nonsense and foolish. Krishnamurti himself knew suddenly, no, that's not my place, and he left. And all of that is distracting from the teaching. And it did great harm to the teaching. So leave the dead alone. Jesus said it already. Let the dead bury the dead. So one should not communicate with those lower sheaths, those lower residues, shells, because it is the task of those shells to disintegrate and to permit the monad to raise higher, the true being to raise higher, and to communicate with those lower principles. And this was the reason why the principles had to be taught, so that people understand they don't deal with an immortal spirit. They deal with a temporary shell, basically containing lower desires and trishna and thirst and so forth. Now, of course, such a shell can contain memories of the life of the one who died, whose body died. But his true spirit or his true being or the higher principles are not there. And so the lower shell is unimportant for living people. And for the one whose body has died and who awakened in his astral shell, it does harm. It does harm in the next world. It does harm to the skandhas also, to the permanent atoms, because there is also karma in the astral world, in the linga sharira, in the astral body. And so I think in 1882, there was an article in Theosophist, Fragments of Occult Truth. It says clearly, no spirit who has gone can visit us. By that they meant the higher principles, because they are already up there, they can't go down. They will, or rather the being will reincarnate clinging to the permanent atoms. This is another occult process. Because there was a letter for reader, and there again is a mistake in Isis, referring to Isis, asking or quoting, and there we have already the use of the term spirit, which of course was understood as immortal spirit, but when it was written there, had another meaning. But without knowing about sevenfoldness of man, which was not taught in Isis, just later than in secret doctrine, one could have seen a contradiction in that. Because Blavatsky writes, I translate here from the German, many of them, especially those who have control over the medium, are disembodied human spirits. She should have written disembodied human astral bodies, disembodied human linga shariras. That is correct. But she wrote human spirits. And a spirit cannot be contacted. The spirit is too high for a medium. Many mediums are possessed by demons. They are alcoholics also, because, see, the problem is, when you are a medium, most mediums are of low consciousness, not very high evolved beings. And if a disembodied astral body of a person who had died in the physical body contacts such a medium, it takes astral matter, etheric matter from its own body. So the medium is already harmed. It tries to restore that with alcohol, because alcohol for a while restores the astral structure, the etheric. But then, after the influence, the astral hole is bigger and the demons can possess you. So beware of drinking alcohol. It causes holes in the aura. In the beginning it's quite fun. Later you pay the price. And so the confusion was great, because she used the term spirit, sometimes meaning the astral body, sometimes not. It is unclear that Johann did not respond to me when I asked if Blavatsky knew at that time already about the sevenfoldness of man. So, Blavatsky agreed that her way of expressing were incomplete, not exact, because she had to use a strange language, a foreign language, which she did not speak very well. A month later there was a reader who quoted that the masters did not know what they were talking of, because Blavatsky wrote that our books have one and the same source, the masters. So then the critics say, well, then the masters are wrong, not understanding that a master only can give what he can give. That has to do with karma and with the one he is giving it to. This led to another contradiction, which I try to correct here, that Blavatsky taught there's no reincarnation. Now, dear friends, the basic teachings of the entire occult teaching is karma and reincarnation, basically. Be it for a planetary spirit, be it for Brahma, be it for the supermonad, as the Book of Light says, be it for a solar system, for a universal system, for everything in manifestation is nothing but the reincarnation of the prior Manvantara. It's the teaching. Manvantara meaning the period of activity, of cosmic activity. Pralaya meaning a period of cosmic rest. And the critics said reincarnation means the twice appearing in one and the same individual, or in his astral monad on the same planet. Then they write, this is not a rule but an exception, like a teratologic phenomenon of a child born with two heads. Now this is, of course,